Hello, my loves. I'm Ellie Frost, and on this channel, we're talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And we take a multi-dimensional approach because narcissistic abuse is an attack spiritually, energetically, emotionally, physically, often financially, on every level, right? So we have to heal it on every level. But what I wanted to talk about today was narcissistic abuse and hypervigilance, right? So what's hypervigilance? Hypervigilance is a trauma response, right? If you've suffered from PTSD or CPTSD, you will have picked up more than likely hypervigilance in some way, right? And even if you haven't been diagnosed with those things, after being with an abuser, right, a narcissist, we get sort of subconsciously programmed, and our nervous system gets programmed, right, to be on high alert, right? So hypervigilance is when we're in a state of very high alert, but really feeling like there's always impending doom, right? That something's going to go wrong. I mean, I know for me personally, how hypervigilance showed up in my life was being so scared I was going to make a mistake. I used to ruminate so much about, especially when I was around my father, did I say the wrong thing? What does he think of me? I would ruminate and go over and over and be really kind of scared that I'd got something wrong. Yeah, or that something was going to go wrong, even when good things happen, right? Because with a narcissist, it's full of highs and lows. It's a massive roller coaster. That would overwhelm me, because when good things happened, I was waiting for the shoe to, the shoe to drop. The other shoe to drop that is the saying. I was waiting for the bad thing to happen, because my nervous system had been trained over years and years and years of abuse that, like, if there was a high, if they were nice to you, right? Because abuse is not just abuse, right? After a period of love bombing or just, them being nice, there would always be a crash. There would always be, you know what I mean? They'd always try and traumatize you again. So most people who have been through narcissistic abuse have some level of hypervigilance. And I want to talk to you about how this affects your manifestations, because I teach manifestation, which is our ability to create our lives, right? To actually use our creative power. And our energy in order to visualize or imagine or call into our life what we want. So I'm going to get onto that. But I just want to remind us what the trauma responses are, because hypervigilance is basically us staying in what they call the fight and flight response constantly. I used to be able to not even go out the door. I'd be scared that someone was going to come and do something to me. I had very irrational fears, right? And a lot of them, because I was in such a hypervigilant state. I was on high alert. So my whole nervous system was in fear. And if someone did something good, I would start getting overwhelmed, because I'd expect them to do something bad to me, right? We can get quite paranoid when we're hypervigilant, because it's not your fault. It's like the nervous system is so on high alert that, like, basically when your nervous system changes, so do your thoughts. So trauma, I teach us all the time, trauma is a body response first. It's not a mind response first. That's why a lot of talking therapies don't work for trauma, because you can't outthink trauma. Right? The feeling comes up in the body, and the thoughts that go along with that feeling are then come into your mind, right? But the body is what we've got to calm down, which is why a lot of my work is energetic. Join Sovereign if you can. So the trauma responses are fight. That's an obvious one, isn't it? When we're traumatized, we fight, we argue, we're in high alert, we're in a heightened state, we want to fight our way out of it. Flight, which I've done in complete, like, catastrophic ways, where we just have to get away. And I must say, although I've done flight where I've just had to leave situations, but I mean, at the time that was the best thing for me, even though it was a trauma response, and I might have been able to do things in a better way, you know what I mean, rather than just leave and just disappear. Actually, that's what my nervous system needed. Sometimes you just are so overwhelmed, you have to get away. Fawn, which is the people pleaser. Right, I was a great big fawner of my abusers, always trying to anticipate their emotions and how they might react, and fawning them, people pleasing them, building up their ego, like just trying, just to stay safe. I learned it as a child, right? I've got to please my parents, and I've got to adapt myself around them and fawn them, compliment them, boost their egos, be their slave, do whatever they want, not have any needs, wants and desires of my own, right? So fawning is the people pleasing, the over giving, the way in which we anticipate, like, we're just reacting to someone rather than being ourselves, to be honest, right? And we're trying to pacify them. And freeze, which I've been in a lot of times as well, where we're just so overwhelmed, we just freeze, we procrastinate, we can't do anything, right? So they're the 4 trauma responses. Hypervigilance will bring up all of those probably. When you're on high alert, they're the strategies that the human uses, right? These are the basic sort of human strategies we have within us to try and control a situation that often is out of control. The fight, the flight, the fawn, or the freeze. Now, what we have to do is regulate our nervous systems, right? Having a dysregulated nervous systems makes us, and having the hypervigilance makes us very reactive, right? Rather than sort of strategic and thinking about things through, we're very reactive all the time, right? We're very on high alert, and it affects our manifestations. We actually manifest from our nervous systems. So when people teach manifestation, it's not just what you think about, it's what you feel about that actually creates in your life. So if my mind's saying I want more money, but my body doesn't feel safe receiving money because I've lost a lot of money in the past, right? Then the nervous system wins in terms of law of attraction and quantum physics. So if you've watched me for a while, you know that I teach on both. I teach on narcissistic abuse and I also teach on manifestation. If you've ever heard of law of attraction, things like that, it's about using our energy, to help reprogram our subconscious mind as well, to open up more opportunities and to be able to get what we want out of life. But what we've got to do is regulate our nervous system first. So there's a lot of work in sovereign energy work that helps you do that, right? Because we want to be what they call an energetic match to what we want, the good stuff in our life. But it's very difficult for people who have been traumatized to be powerful manifestors, right? You can manifest no matter what state you're in. I have manifested when my back is against the wall, right? But it's much harder because your nervous system is the predominant vibration that you're emitting in the universe, right? So we're all energy, we've all got a vibrational frequency. And when our frequency is predominantly vibrating at trauma, we're actually attracting more trauma, right? More bad things. What we want to do is reset our nervous systems and start attracting better and better in our lives. We want to become great creators of our own reality, right? So I've got another channel called at Manifest with Ellie Frost where I go into some of this, and I've also got a membership called Live Fully Now where we're talking about manifestation. So just put in the comments if you want to know about those things. But the most important thing to do, right, is pause, be discerning, take your time, especially if you've got hypervigilance and PTSD, CPTSD. Just take a lot more time with things. If people ask you to do things, if you feel overwhelmed, say, I need a break, I need space. If people are asking you to do things, don't, my default response, because I was taught how to fawn very young, was I would just say yes to everything. Do you want to go out tonight? Yes. Do you want to do? Yes. And then I'd be doing things I didn't want to do, right? And because I was used to just pleasing people, I couldn't just say, let me think about that. So let me think about that is a golden sentence. And I still have to try and train myself now, because I'll say yes just to please someone rather than actually think about, do I want to do that? Is that right for me? So let me think about that. Let me get back to you. Yeah? I'll let you know tomorrow if that's okay. Using strategies like that when we're hypervigilant are really important, and being aware and being, so I put my hands on my body a lot to keep me in my body and aware of my nervous system, feeling into how things are making me feel and knowing to respond to my emotional needs. Emotional needs are things like I need space, I need a bit of time, I need fresh air, I need a break, I need reassurance, I need that explained again, I need to come back to this, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Being able to communicate our emotional needs is really, really important. So I hope you like this video. Thank you for being here. Please keep liking, subscribing, commenting and sharing. Lots of love, guys. I'll speak to you soon.